as we have understood the for loop, now let us write one or two programs using the for loop. Say I want to write a program where a few stars will be printed like this, star, then again star, then again a star, then again a star, something like this will be printed. Now how many of these will be printed? That will be inputted by the user, that is user will input, user will input the number of stars to be printed. So that is what the program is. It's a very, very simple program. The number of stars to be printed will be inputted by the user, and your output should be that many stars. So that many stars have to be printed by you. It's a very simple program. So for that, what do I need? I need to declare a variable n, because the number of stars to be printed will be inputted by the user. I will need a I, because I will need a for loop to continue that many times, because I don't know how many times it has to be printed. It has to be printed n times. So if it is 5, I should run up to 5. If it is 7, I has to run up to 7. So definitely I will ask from the user printf enter the number of stars to be printed. So this is something user will input, and I will scan it. Where to scan it? Scanf %d ampersand n. So within n I scan it. So how to print? Very simple. For, I will use the for loop. I should start from 1. You remember initialization? So initialization is I equal to 1. How long? Till I is less than equal to n. Why? Because from 1 to n, that many number of times I need to print, and every time I has to increase by 1. So first time when it enters the loop, I enters with a value of 1. Next time when it comes back, I is incremented, so I is 2. So every time it checks whether I is less than equal to n and keeps on printing. So what will be the thing? Printf star maybe. So if I run this program, then definitely I can expect that these many stars will be printed. It's a very simple program, but gradually from this program I will try to go gradually towards bigger programs. Say run it. Number of stars to be printed 7. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stars have been printed. If I run it with 5, definitely 5 stars will be printed. But it would be great if there is a little bit of gap in between. So let me put in maybe 3 gaps. Let me run it. What will happen? There will be some gaps in between the stars. So that is what it is, few gaps in between the stars. Now what I want to tell you over here is, if you remember that if I give a /n over here, then what will happen? Every time after printing the star, there will be a new line character. So if I run this program now with 7 stars, then definitely the stars will be printed in new lines. Why? Because every time this /n is working after printing the star, which means after printing every star it is going to a new line. So the next star, when it is being printed, it is being printed in the new line. Now I want to tell you something new over here. Here instead of /n, I can use a concept of /t. A new thing, /t. What is this /t? N means new line character. T means tab character. Tab. What is tab? That is, after printing every star, a tab will be printed. What happens when you print a tab? When you press the tab key, what happens? It just leaves a bit of gap. It prints a tab space. So the same thing will happen over here. Check out what? Alt enter. 7 stars to be printed. After every star, a tab character. So a bit of gap. See? After every star, a tab character has been printed. That is, between the stars, there is a tab space. Between every star, there is a tab space. So this /t can easily be used. Now the thing is that using this concept of printing the number of stars, I want to change my program a little bit. Now the program, I want the program to look like this. User will input the number of stars to be printed, not that. User will input the number of lines. User will input the number of lines. So how will my output look like? My output should look like this: star in the first line, 2 stars in the second line, 3 stars in the third line, 4 stars in the fourth line, 5 stars in the fifth line, and so on. So say suppose if user inputs the number of lines to be maybe equal to 4 in an example, then 4 stars, the output should look like this. This is what should be the output: star followed by next line 2 stars, next line 3 stars, next line 4 stars, and so on. However, if the user would have inputted not 4, but say the user inputted 5, then I would have needed another line, and the output should look like star followed by a star, followed by a star, followed by a star, and followed by a last star. This should be the look of the output. So the output will look exactly like this depending on the number of lines inputted by the user. Don't forget, user can input even 10. In that case there will be 10 lines, and in the 10th line there will be 10 stars. Check out why I say this. In the first line there is 1 star, in the second line there are 2 stars, in the third line there are 3 stars, in the fourth line there are 4 stars, in the fifth line 5 stars, sixth line 6 stars, and so on. 10th line 10 stars. So that is what I expect from the output. So let me now comment out these lines. Let me just comment out these lines, and let me start writing the program. What should the program be written like? See, you know that this program at the time being prints a fixed number of stars, n number of stars, where n is the number of stars to be printed. This program I have written just a while back. Now here I don't need to input the number of stars to be printed. Instead I want enter the number of lines where stars are to be printed. The number of lines. So that number of lines may be inputted by the user in a variable called line. I take a variable, maybe I just rename it, not n, but I call it line. The number of lines are inputted by the user, or let me call it lines, not line, lines. These number of lines are to be printed. Now to print line number of stars, I need only this much change in the program, n to be changed to lines. So what does this program do? This program prints number of lines, number of stars in the line, in the particular line. Say for example, if lines is 3, then in the third line it prints 3 stars, but this cannot be lines. Instead I know that I firstly need a for loop. Check out what, this is something new you will be learning. In the for loop I will need something like this: for I equal to 1, I less than equal to lines I plus plus. This loop will move what? Will actually make the control iterate lines number of time. Now over here I can say, when I enter this for loop with I equal to 1, I am printing the first line. When I enter this for loop with I equal to 2, I am in the second line. When I enter this for loop with I equal to 3, I am in the third line. When I enter this for loop with I equal to 4, I am in the fourth line. So I enter this for loop means I am in that ith line. Check out what I am saying. First time you enter I equal to 1. I equal to 1 means you are entering the first line. Second time when you come back to this for loop, I will become 2, so you are entering the second line. Next time when you come to this for loop, you enter with I equal to 3, you are in the third line. So I actually indicates in which line you are present. So over here, what I need to do is, in that line, I need to print that number of stars. Say when I is equal to 3 over here, you are entering this for loop with I equal to 3, it means you are in the third line. So how many stars do you need to print? You need to print 3 stars. So if you have to print 3 stars, what you need to do is, you just need to go a loop from j equal to 1, from j less than equal to I, j plus plus. Check out what I am saying. I enter the first line with I equal to 1. So when you are entering this, you are entering with I equal to 1 means you are in the first line. When you are entering this with I equal to 2, it means you are in the second line. When you enter this with I equal to 3, you are in the third line. When you enter this with I equal to 4, you are in the fourth line. So in the fourth line, how many stars do you need to print? You need to print 4 stars. So to print 4 stars, you need another for loop j equal to 1 to j less than equal to 4. So you have entered the fourth line definitely with I equal to 4. So to print 4 stars, you need to go from j equal to 1 to j less than equal to I, in this case 4. Now when it enters this with I equal to 5, you are in the fifth line. How many stars do you need to print? You need to print 5 stars. So in that case, you have to go from j equal to 1 to j less than equal to 5. So every time you are in the ith loop, you need to print I stars. So j equal to 1 to j less than equal to I, that many number of stars. Now what happens is, this for loop when you end, you can say that you have printed that many lines. But remember what? When you are entering this for loop, you are in the first line. When you go back to the for loop, you are still in the first line. You have not gone to the second line because there is no slash n anywhere. So you remember that every time within the outer for loop, this is the inner for loop. I am just putting this bracket for an understanding purpose, for an easy understanding purpose. However, you don't need this inner bracket because this inner bracket, the inner for loop has got only one line within it. What do I need over here? Do you know? I need only a printf slash n. Check out why. You check out why. You enter with I equal to 1. When you enter with I equal to 1, you are going inside this with I equal to 1. So j runs from 1 to 1. So every time what it is doing, it is printing a star. So it prints only 1 star because j is running from 1 to 1. You have entered with I equal to 1 first time. So j runs from 1 to 1. How many times is it printing star? It is printing star only 1 time. After printing this star 1 time, it goes out of the loop. What it does? It takes the control to the new line and goes back to the start for loop, first for loop, outer for loop. Now I becomes 2. So it enters the loop this time with I equal to what? With I equal to 2. So this time the j runs from 1 to 2. So how many stars will be printed? If it runs from 1 to 2, 2 stars with a slash t in between. Then you go out of the inner for loop and print a slash n. So the control goes to the new line. Now going to the new line, I becomes 3. I becomes 3. So this time the j runs from 1 to how much? J runs from 1 to 3. So what is it printing? It is printing 3 stars followed by every time a tab. Now after printing these 3 stars, it will go out of the inner for loop. What will it print? Slash n, that is a new line. It goes to the new line, that is it goes to the fourth line. I becomes 4. It enters this outer for loop with I equal to 4. So this inner for loop runs from j equal to 1 to j equal to 4. So how many stars are printed? 4 stars are printed. And after printing 4 stars, it goes out of the inner for loop, comes to the outer for loop. What does it print? It prints a slash n, goes to the fifth line. I becomes 5, and so on it continues. So I believe you understand that this program will run absolutely fine. Let me try to run this program now, and don't forget, yes, before running, you have used this J. Did you declare it? No, you need to declare a J also. So let me now run this program. Alt R, enter. No errors. How many lines are to be printed? Maybe 7 lines. See what? First line 1 star, second line 2 stars, third line 3 stars, 4 lines 4 star. So see, you understand this? Had I dropped this /n, then what would the program look like? Say, comment out this portion. This portion is no more there. So how will the program look like? Absolutely a mess. Check out what? Nothing. The stars are printed one after the other. Why? You know why? Because I equal to 1, it enters when it enters with I equal to 1, J runs from 1 to 1, prints 1 star. It goes back, it is there in the same, when it goes out of the inner for loop, it goes to the outer for loop. It is in the same line, control is in the same line. Yes, I becomes 2, but the control is there in the same line. Now J runs from 1 to 2, it prints 2 stars, but where? In the same line, because the control has not gone to the next line. So this /n is absolutely very important. This /n is absolutely very important. So let me run it once more, maybe with 9 lines this time. See, check out what? 9 lines are printed. Then in the 9th line you check out, there are 9 stars. So this program runs absolutely fine. Thank you so much. So let us come back after a bit of break. You can take a bit of break and come back. Thank you.